All right, everybody, welcome to the Gratitude Lyceum. Thank you all for being here. We are so excited to share with you guys. So let's get started.
So who's next?
Okay, so Mr. Lovely, next slide, please. So I'm Dodney Sridham. I'm one of the house captains for DG. Olivia, are you there? All right, well, I think, yeah. Olivia Frazier is our other DG house captain. And then Jet and Sean, you want to introduce yourselves?
I'm Jet Nielsen. I'm the sophomore rep.
I'm Sean O'Malley, and I'm the 9th grade rep.
Yeah, and we're the house leaders for DG, so we're super excited to get this started. First up, we have Capstone Awards. So I'm going to hand it over to Mrs. Garland to present the High School Capstone Award.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Garland, and I am so excited to share this award, especially because it's during a gratitude Lyceum, and this is a student that I feel such deep gratitude for. But first of all, I just want to say that I just feel like the class of 2021 is a capstone class. I've probably written 4 to 6 recommendations for students in your class because you as a class, as a cohort, show such great wisdom, and through the pandemic have shown fortitude, prudence, temperance. Just as a class, you are gentle-spirited and compassionate and wise. And so there's so many of you that are deserving of this award. But today, the person that I nominated and the person who I am so excited to share this with is Tyler Higgins. Tyler has learned the capstone virtues through challenges, mistakes, reflections, and a lot of fortitude. I've watched Tyler mature and learn to channel that unbridled, exuberant energy and work ethic into creative, positive outcomes, and he's made differences for his teachers and peers. Tyler has a deep passion, strong opinions, hardworking, but he's also learned to take perspective and to listen well, to seek kindness over self-righteousness. In soccer, he's become a team player and he's become a leader. In class, he perseveres through his frustrations or difficulties, and he's often the first to ask a question and also the first to lighten the mood. Tyler has an incredible drive in his interest areas, from soccer, where he was voted MVP, to solving physics problems. He applies his intellectual curiosity, his creativity, his passion to everything, and he cares deeply about others and about his academic success. In my humble opinion, wisdom is being inclined toward beauty, goodness, and truth, even when it's difficult and unfair. And it must be reflected in your actions and in serving others. Tyler shows this. He shows this every day in his gregarious and genuine care for others, especially those who are overlooked, maybe different or ignored in that high school setting. In one of our many conversations, when he's writing his essays for college, he said to me, you know, it used to be important for me to win or always to be the best, but now love comes first, discipline comes second. I've come to realize that my actions have consequences and meanings, that my purpose is to glorify God and to serve others. And after college, I want to strive to make a better tomorrow in some small way for a few people. To me, that just highlights his humility and the capstone virtue of wisdom. This is the optimistic, hardworking, sometimes silly, funny, encouraging, always willing to be there for me force that's Tyler Higgins. Congratulations, Tyler.
Awesome. Congrats, Tyler. And now we have Mr. Parsons introducing the Junior High Capstone Award.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's John Parsons, and I am the 8th grade science and Algebra 1 teacher. And unlike Mrs. Garland, this is my first opportunity to have the pleasure to nominate and win, have a student that I nominated win this award. And this was such an easy choice to nominate this capstone award for this student because all of her teachers shared common praise for this student. So it gives me great pleasure to give the capstone award to the very deserving Brooklyn Cardenas. Let me just read you a few things from her nomination. It's such a joy to teach Brooklyn because she doesn't just want to get a good grade. She wants to truly understand the lesson and the beauty in the subject matter at hand. In science, she's a great student, but oftentimes she was my litmus paper for some of my lectures because if she didn't understand things, she would always ask me later on in study hall, and we had long, long conversations until she completely understood the material. In history class, it was evident that she didn't just want to get an A+ as her goal. She wouldn't have made flashcards and also studied in a quest towards perfection, even when she hardly needed to take the final. Other teachers told me that she has true integrity throughout her character. She clearly places great importance in her relationships with teachers and students alike. She exhibits wonderful listening skills, and careful speaking makes her a wonderful communicator. She also shows true grit and fortitude in working hard to achieve her goals with strong work ethic and a general inclination to better herself. I believe she's a genuine asset to her classmates. In science, and also in study hall, I've watched her let other students have an opportunity to answer questions in class. And when the time is right, she thrives on explaining things to her classmates, not to impress, but to share in the joy of attaining knowledge and understanding. To finish, I'll let Brooklyn's own words demonstrate her fortitude and her justice. Quote, "At times, it will be hard to stand up for yourself and hold your ground against the tidal waves of prejudice and intimidation, but you must if you want to endure." Congratulations again, Brooklyn. Well deserved.
Congratulations, Tyler and Brooklyn. Incredible job. Keep up the good work. Next, we will be watching a short video about gratitude.
So let's be real. Some days are hard. So I made this list of awesome things I'm thankful for. Yeah. Sometimes I need reminding that things are not all that bad. So I wanted to share a few because you guys are my friends. It's great to be alive. And here's some reminders why. First one, bubble wrap. When cats do their tongue, like this. I'm also thankful for the little paw pads that the cats and dogs have and the sound it makes. Oh, man. I love them. Hey, turn that back on. Oh, no. Change it. Ah, there, that's better. Music is magical. It can make anything better. Right music can make a video better. The same goes with life. Singing. I like paw pats. Singing. If something's boring, just sing it, and that will make it better. Watching paint dry. It's really cool. Old people who still hold hands. Clouds that look like stuff. One time I saw a cloud that looked like an airplane, and I realized it was an airplane. Imagination. Without it, we wouldn't have airplanes, no internet, pants, Pants. Pants, we gotta wear them, because if we didn't, it would be sort of awkward. Pants. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Sleep. Clothes with funny names, like Windbreaker. Birthday cake. No reason at all cake, just cake. Sorry, we filmed this while I was hungry. Forgiveness. I'm Kid President, but I ain't perfect. Ain't a word. We all mess up, come on. Don't mess up and forget to forgive all the mess ups. Thankful plants undergo photosynthesis, using the energy from the sun to convert carbon dioxide to oxygen, providing us with the air we need to do things like this. I'm bored. Morgan Freeman's voice. Hello, I'm Morgan Freeman. I'm working on it. My voice is changing, but it hasn't changed that much. Food. Taco. Burger. I know, I already said food, but this is my list and my rules. Happiness. Sadness. Sad isn't bad. It helps you know what you care about. People. Sometimes people can be really people-y, but we need each other. Life's better with people in it. Family, friends, you. Just being alive. Sometimes we forget how it's just great to be alive. We're breathing. Some days are tough, but we got a lot to be thankful for. We just have to look for it sometimes. They say if you have food in your fridge, clothes on your back, and a place to sleep, you're richer than 75% of the world. I did not know that. So what would you add to the list? Let me know. Share this video with someone you're really thankful for. Oh, and of course, also this. Dancing! Brad and I are thankful for all of you. Seriously, thanks for giving us and the whole world a reason to dance. So what are you thankful for? Let me know. KP out. Keep going, keep going, keep going. I'll call this move the stovetop stuffing. I'll call this one the stuffed face nay-nay. I forgot one. There's something that I'm really thankful for. Uncle Jesse from Full House. This is macaroni art of him. It's beautiful. Have mercy. I'm filming a video to encourage people to be thankful. KP out.
That was an excellent video. And now time to introduce our speaker. Mrs. Green has been part of the Liberty family for 14 years. She has been an active volunteer throughout her many years here. She has 2 children, both of which attended Liberty. Riley attended Liberty for 10 years and is now a freshman in college. Ryan will be a 13er at LCHS next year. Mrs. Green works as a nurse practitioner with cardiothoracic and vascular surgery at Medical Center of the Rockies. She considers herself a lifelong learner and is happy to share with Liberty Common High School students about what she has learned about gratitude along her journey. Now introducing Mrs. Green.
Thanks, Jet. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. All right, I'm gonna try to share my screen, you guys. Let's see. Thanks for sharing part of your afternoon with me after a long day in school. I appreciate so many of you showing up. There's like 350 people here. Okay, hang on. Let's see if I can get, oh, here we go. Okay. So during the pandemic, what is something that was taken away from you to then realize how much you appreciated it? So we've all had several, and we can all make probably a pretty long list, right? So I was asked to talk to you all today about gratitude. I am going to start by sharing 3 personal experiences, and then I'm going to share how I personally practice gratitude in my own life, and then I'm going to give you a challenge towards the end. So my first story, this takes place in my freshman year of high school, and it was about softball tryouts. So I did not grow up in an athletic household. I had never played any sort of ball sport. And I decided I was going to try out for softball, because why not? But I quickly learned during tryouts that I wasn't blessed with a ton of hand-eye coordination. And I couldn't hit that well, and I couldn't really catch or throw a whole lot better. So after 2 humbling weeks of a couple hours of which were pretty much combo practice / tryouts, I didn't make the team, but the coach took me aside and offered me a team manager position, which was pretty much you go to the games and you take score, you travel with the team. But he also mentioned to me, he asked me if I'd ever considered running track. He said, you know, when we're doing warm-ups, you're usually the first or second girl to make it to the goalpost, which in one of these pictures in the yearbook with the photo that I'm not in, because I didn't make the team, you can see the goalpost that we used to run to. And I had actually never thought of running track, but he encouraged me to do so. And so that was the same season. So I actually joined the track team, and the coach put me in the 800 and the mile, and I became, wrong way. Sorry, you guys. Became a runner. So this was my freshman year running track. And this is Coach Key. He was my coach. And ever since that time, I have continued to be a lifelong runner. So I have run lots of races in fun places. I've run 35 marathons. My husband and I have run 20 of them together. All over the country. We've run Boston twice, New York 6 times. We've gone up at the top, there's Paris, at the bottom there's Rome, Disney. We've done lots of fun events together. And running has also afforded me several other opportunities. One of our Bernese mountain dogs, Scarlet, and I got featured in Runner's World, which is down in the corner, kind of fun. I got to be the distance coach for the Liberty Junior High track team a few years ago. My family has done a lot of races together. I've been lucky enough to win a few local races. And this picture in the middle is a particularly special one to me because in 2010, I did a full Ironman in Cozumel, and I finished with my hands in prayer with gratitude. And it was something that I never would have imagined being able to do when I was young, and really honestly, even a couple years before this. So this is this account called Athlinks, and it's kind of a fun site for runners because they store all your races. So I've now logged about 2,500 miles racing. That's not training, but just racing. And then it's just got all your races on there. It's kind of fun. And then here is a picture of me and my husband, Patrick, with the kids, with Riley and Ryan. And we would occasionally run with them in the double baby jogger. And one particular race, doing the Colorado run, which finishes at CSU Oval, taking the final turn into the oval, Patrick was pushing them and he took it pretty sharp, turned the baby jogger on its side, and both kids were hanging like this, but they were strapped in. So no harm done, flipped them back up, went into the finish. So what if the softball coach never took the time to share with me that he thought I could run? Would I have landed on running? I don't know, maybe, but certainly not as a freshman in high school. So his name was Coach Buick. He was softball coach for a long time at Westminster Academy, my high school in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And this is a shout out to him. So I just thought I would mention the additional benefits of physical activity because moving our bodies allows us to enjoy active lives and gives us more energy for fun. I've gained appreciation for how my body feels and functions, especially the older I get, versus simply how it looks. And I have a lot of gratitude for what my body can do, swimming and boating, hiking, dancing, gardening, playing with the kids. And here's little Ryan picture, long, long time ago. So my next story, we're going to fast forward a few years to, this is my freshman year of college. My daughter actually had the idea of me sharing this story because she thought that that there were kind of several takeaways. So hopefully you'll be able to come up with maybe one that means something to you. But I have always been strong in math and science courses. So my mother thought that I should pursue engineering, saying as a female engineer, particularly in the 90s, that I could kind of, you know, make my own path. So she encouraged me to apply to Georgia Tech. And when I got in, she thought it was a no-brainer to attend. So I started college there in the fall of 1990. My high school was very similar to Liberty. I felt really well prepared. I took calc and chem, engineering and English class, quickly made friends, really liked Atlanta. And then over Christmas break of my freshman year, due to an acute change within my family, and then subsequently with my financial situation, I was all of a sudden financially independent, needing to fund college 100% on my own. And it was something that I hadn't planned on, and so I wasn't really prepared to do. So I was already enrolled at Georgia Tech the following quarter. So I returned there in January, and I researched some options. A lot of engineering schools have co-ops where you're in school for a quarter and then you intern for a quarter. But all those spots were taken. I got a job working at the university copy store, but $7 an hour didn't really make much of a dent in out-of-state tuition. And then I looked into financial aid, but I just wasn't comfortable with the amount of debt that I was going to graduate with. So I made a call to Florida, and I tried to find out if I was still eligible for a scholarship that I had received my senior year of high school. And now I think it's called the Bright Scholarship, if I'm not mistaken, but at the time it was called the Florida Academic Scholarship. So they told me that yes, indeed, I was still eligible, but I needed 12 Florida higher ed credits by the end of the academic year to still get it. So I made the difficult decision to leave Georgia Tech and packed up. My sister actually came, packed me up, and brought me back to Florida, where I worked 3 jobs. So in the morning, I started the day at 5 a.m. opening a bagel shop. And at lunch, I waitressed at a cafe. And then at dinner time, or in the evenings, I waitressed at an Italian restaurant. And in between, I was taking the classes, the credits that I needed, and I was studying, practically falling asleep in the bathtub. But in that time, I earned $9,000 in 6.5 months, which in today's dollars would be twice that amount. And it was enough to fund, along with my scholarship, to get me through 4 years of college without ever having to take a student loan or have money from family. But granted, just to be clear, tuition back then was a lot cheaper, as we know, than it is now. So once at University of Florida, I immediately changed my major to nursing, as I'd always been interested in the healthcare professions. I made new friends, became a residence assistant. I was an officer at the local and state level of the Florida Nursing Association. And in the middle, there was, back in the day when we were literally, I mean, they're handwritten. Nothing was super professional back then, but it was part of my campaigning. Don't let the minutes pass you by. Because I was running for recording secretary. I was involved, studied hard. I worked for graduate nursing faculty in the summer and graduated in 4 years. There's a picture of me in the ICU and in our whites, as we'd call them, and in the greens. So at the end of my senior year, just before I walked down the aisle to graduate with high honors, my stepdad gave me a hug and his eyes filled with tears and said, "Tiff, you should be so proud. You did this completely on your own." And he passed away this last fall. And so those words still mean a lot to me. Graduation day, I felt really thankful for a solid education, which allowed me to land a job as a nurse in an ICU in Gainesville. And I was grateful for the scholarship, which afforded me the opportunity to graduate without being saddled with debt. So at 18 and a half, as you can tell, like I can still feel all the motions from that time. It was really hard and I was scared. And so I know what it feels like, you guys, sometimes when you just feel really alone and you're making super huge decisions for yourselves. But I also feel like challenging times test our resilience and resourcefulness. They give us the opportunity to rise and overcome, and they show us how amazingly strong we can be. We don't always choose our experiences, but often our hardest times turn out to be our biggest teachers. And over time, I have to add that I have become more and more grateful for the confidence that I feel like I gained from that experience. I realized I could make responsible choices and carve my own path and take care of myself. So ICU nursing led me to grad school out here in Colorado at University of Colorado. And that led me to meeting my husband in 1999. I graduated with my master's in 98. And then had Riley and Ryan, and we're in Fort Collins, living our best lives. Feel really fortunate. So this is my last story, and then we'll move on talking some more about gratitude. But this third story takes place at work over this past weekend. So we had an incredibly challenging case where a middle-aged man, and by middle-aged, I mean my age, presented to the hospital with a catastrophic heart condition. And by that, 3 of his 4 major coronary arteries were totally blocked. So this is one of those cases where somebody is, he was lucky to even make it to the hospital still alive. So we pulled out all the stops and tried to do everything to keep him alive. So the surgeon, a physician's assistant, colleague of mine, and I spent 2 12 and 14-hour days working on him. It eventually became clear that his organs had shut down and there was 0 chance of survival. His family elected after the second day, at the end of the second day, to transition to comfort care. So we helped him die peacefully and supported his family through the process. It was mentally and emotionally really difficult. We were exhausted. There were some tears on our side, even behind closed doors in the bathroom, so no one could see because the story isn't about us. And the reason I mention this is because we all experience days when we're enduring and we're just surviving and we're just trying to get by. But even when things look dark, gratitude for something can help us see a glimmer of light in the darkness. That light reminds us that things are going to get better and that we won't stay in that place forever. So while still at the hospital, I thought about how grateful I am for excellent teamwork and colleagues that rely and trust on each other. And then on my drive home, I was so thankful for going home to a loving family. My husband even had dinner on the table waiting for me. And I was really grateful that our dog Snickers, who's asleep on my lap, I don't know if you guys can even see me on the Zoom, but here he is. Our little lap pug. That every time I come home from work, he runs over to the door wagging his tail, and he's so happy to see me. And over here on the right, I'm pictured in this jacket that the surgeons had made for us, the cardiothoracic surgery NPs and PAs. And it's super soft, and I love how it feels. And I've actually never owned anything Patagonia before, so my daughter now thinks I'm hip. But what's really special is that they took the time to get them personalized for us. And I mention that just because, there's always things that we can look for to be grateful for. So what is gratitude? So it's a quality of thankfulness. You've noticed something good, you've appreciated it, but you don't just feel it, you act on it. And that's why we call it the practice of gratitude. So how do we practice gratitude? Well, first of all, we need to slow down, look for it, find it, and then express it. So on slowing down, I am naturally a very grateful person, but I am also somebody that is a doer and a fast mover. And I'm one of those people that prides themselves in being uber productive. So I need to actually focus and concentrate to slow down and be present in the moment. So when people like me, are so goal-oriented that we're always looking towards the next thing, whether it be the next race or the next degree or your next vacation, we can lose the ability to be enjoying the here and the now. And time is one commodity that we can't make more of. We can earn more money, we can buy more stuff, but we can't buy time. School days and work days can sometimes feel really routine. And sometimes it feels like you're doing the same thing day after day. And it can feel like you're running on a treadmill and not going anywhere. But every day is unique. And there's always something special to notice. And there's this saying that we find what we're looking for. So if we're looking for positive, we're going to see more positive. If we're looking for negative, that's what's going to be in the forefront. So in chasing your future, don't forget to live your life. I love this cartoon because it really exemplifies how we see our plans, and that we think we want to go from A to B to the finish line, but really how life works is that we end up going from A to Z with a lot of dips and valleys in between. And this is the universe's plans for you. So I like the thought of celebrating along the journey. Every time you get through one of these periods, you know, you're really grateful about what you learned along the way. So some of the ways that I practice gratitude in my own life are that I now take a picture every day, and I'll show you a couple of these projects I've done. I have a gratitude journal, and my kids actually have these things that we call mom books. Prayer, nature. I feel like when I'm outside in nature, if I focus on my 5 senses, it makes me more in tune to the here and now and being in the present moment. And I do this thing annually called a spending freeze, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. And then I donate time through volunteering and money through charitable giving. So this is a project that I did in 2007, and it's called Week in the Life. And pretty much what I did was document a whole lot of details, took a ton of pictures for a week, and then but they were just kind of like ordinary moments in life. And here were some of the pictures. This is just a picture of my scrapbook. And then I also every day wrote down 3 things that I was grateful for. So on this particular Sunday in May, I wrote, I'm grateful that I'm a morning person, that I've got healthy, happy children, and that I'm grateful for hair dryers that work, because mine had broken that morning and I had to go to church with wet hair. So just kind of random things. I don't think they always have to be big things. They can just be things that come up in your day. From that project, that led me to deciding that I wanted to focus every day on finding something that I was grateful for, or that was special or unique. And so from that point on, I've taken a photo a day. And I know other people do this too. I've heard it called a photo a day. I've heard it called Project 365. And there's just a couple of random pictures. There's me with the kids when they were little reading. And then this is a picture of my husband, Patrick. And I just think this is hilarious because when the kids were younger, he used to dig out Halloween costumes, put them on, and chase them around the house. So it's just a really fun memory when I look at these pictures. And I and my kids all have gratitude journals. And when we went on quarantine after spring break this last year, I asked them to please write down 3 things that they're grateful for. Or actually 3 things. Something that they're grateful for, something unique about the day, and then something they learned that day. And I don't every single day write in my gratitude journal. I'm a little bit more sporadic about it, but I do take my picture and then I write a little blurb about my picture. But studies have been done that if you take 2 minutes a day for 21 days to write something that you're grateful for, or you journal about something positive that happened in your day, that after 21 days on this scale of pessimism and optimism, you actually move over to optimism. Even if you're an 83-year-old man, it's pretty fascinating that in 3 weeks, you can kind of train your brain to be optimistic. These are just a couple of blank books. I don't even know if they still make them, but these were from over 10 years ago. They're called Smash Books. But every year on Mother's Day, I ask my kids, I'm like, I don't want a thing, like a physical thing. I'm like, please just write me something in my mom book. So they've written pictures and or drawn pictures and written poems. And this is just a snapshot of this last Mother's Day where they both printed off little like wallet-sized pictures and then wrote me a letter. And I always think to myself that if our house ever catches fire, these are the 2 books that I'm going to grab on the way out the door with my pug. So these are some pictures of my dad, my biological dad. His name is Terry. And his friends affectionately called him Extra Terry because everything he did really huge and extra. If one was good, 10 was better. He was adventurous and he was crafty, and there was nothing the man could not build, which is why I gave him lots of shirts like this that said, "Keep calm, Poppy will fix it," because my kids call him Poppy. He loved really big too. I inherited this trait from him, and it's likely the reason that I've run 35 marathons instead of 1 or 2, because, you know, go big or go home, I guess. And I also, when I would see something that I'd like, instead of buying just one, I'd be like, oh, I love it so much, I need a backup in case the first one I wear it out or it breaks. And I think all of my friends need one too. So I inherited the extra gene. So for the last few years, for a week, I've put myself on a spending freeze. Like, it's like a self-imposed spending freeze where I just haven't bought anything non-consumable. So I'm buying food and, you know, lotion and, you know, conditioner and stuff like that, but nothing that you can't consume. And in the past, I've done it only for a week, but this last year I started in July and I'm still doing it. And the only things that I bought that are non-consumable since last summer are at Christmas. My kids did get some presents. So don't feel too sorry for Ryan. He did have some things under the tree. And for his birthday, he got a record player, and my daughter did get a jacket for her birthday. So they're not being deprived. But otherwise, I have just kind of gotten off the consumerism wagon. And the things that I have found that have benefited my life is that I've saved time because I'm not shopping for things online or in person. I've saved money, which has allowed me to be more generous and donate to organizations that I believe in. And then it's also made me a lot more grateful for the things I have, because now I notice that, like, a particular jacket that I have that I love to wear, every time I put it on, I don't know why, but it just feels extra special. And I think it's because I know that I'm just not going to turn around and just go buy something else. So I feel like it's made me more grateful for the things that I do have. It's also made me more creative and resourceful, because if you can't just go to the store and get it, or get on Amazon and buy it, you kind of have to think about, well, can I make it? Can I borrow it? And so I love this takeoff of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is use what you have, borrow, swap, thrift, make it, or at last resort, buy it. And then this is another gratitude practice. And here I'm volunteering with Ryan. We volunteer together for Meals on Wheels, which has been super fun. We've been doing that for 3 years now. And it's just been a great opportunity for us to do together. We started when he was learning how to drive, and now he drives me around. And the picture at the top is just volunteering at school. So online, I found this happiness challenge, which it lists 5 ways to be more positive. And we've pretty much talked about all of them. The 3 gratitudes we talked about, because it allows you to scan the world looking not just for the negative inputs, but for the positive ones, and it retrains your brain. And then the journaling we talked about, in that just that 2-minute exercise of journaling something positive, because you're reliving that experience, it makes you more optimistic. Exercise we talked about already. Meditation, which I'll say I'm not great at, but my kids are better at this than I am, but it does allow you to train your brain to be able to focus, and it reduces stress and allows you to be more present. And then I really like this last one, random acts of kindness. And including in random acts of kindness, or even just saying thank you to someone every day. Because when we either text somebody or we tell them thank you to their face, it actually is creating energy. It's not even a transfer, but you feel good about it and they feel good about it. So we're almost at the end, you guys. Thanks for hanging in. The benefits of gratitude. So grateful humans are happier humans. Gratitude for what you have makes you less materialistic and feel less envy. Gratitude increases the serotonin or happy chemicals in your brain. And we just talked about this one, about positive energy that it creates. And then the health benefits include less anxiety, it relieves stress, it improves sleep, and it increases self-esteem. So in closing, I have a challenge for you. I want you to think of someone who has impacted you in a meaningful way and let that person know. It may be a parent, a teacher, a friend, or someone you don't even know very well, but somebody that's made an impression on you. And share with that individual something they have done recently that you're grateful for, or maybe even how much they mean to you, if you want to go a little deeper. And if you can't tell them in person, because either they're not physically, it's not possible, or because of COVID, you can't, just write them a letter or send them a text. And back to that, that third story that I shared about our patient over the weekend. So on Monday, our hospital received this feedback from the patient's sister. And it says, I want to thank the cardiac intensive care unit for the outstanding care that my brother, who passed last night, or last evening, in room, and I blacked out his room number and her name for, confidentiality reasons. But you guys, this means everything. This thank you on Monday, to have them share this with us, that not only did this gentleman's family feel like he received outstanding care, but they took a couple of minutes, like the very next morning after losing him, to say thank you and to really express that and share how much it meant to them. And it really just makes all the expended energy and all the hours of overtime that we spent and the stress of the job worthwhile. And this is the magnitude of the power of gratitude. So I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you guys, and thank you for sharing part of your afternoon with me. Thanks for hanging in there after a long day on Zoom doing classes.
Thank you, Mrs. Green, so much. We do not have time for questions, unfortunately, but thank you so much for talking, and thank you everyone who came. That was wonderful.
Thank you. Oh.